Fans of looter shooters around have been waiting for the First Descendant to be released, and after a beta testing and free demo on Steam, it is finally here. Now, personally, I was excited when I played the demo of this game. It felt great, graphics are good, the gameplay loop looks fine, nothing too crazy or nothing too unique, but it's new and most importantly, free to play. With everything overpriced right now, having a game that you can hop on and actually have fun with your mates for free is a huge thing. But of course, devs need that moolah. We'll talk about that in a bit. With that out of the way, let's get right to the part where we can talk about should we play the First Descendant. First, let's talk about progression. It harbors the classic choose your character bit, which you are supposed to pick your class or whatever, but in this case, you pick a Descendant. You have three choices. First, you've got Viesa as a kind of the magic focused character. Looks like the wizard or support type character in this case. And then you've got Lepik, who's the ballistic guy, more bombs and stuff. More on your damage type character. And then you've got Ajax, the tank or the character that has a defensive kit. And well, your boy is a fan of tanking, so I played as Ajax. Along the line, you can unlock more characters or Descendants, and play as them. The premise of the game looks like you're playing as someone who's just part of the Descendants and not really tied to one character. So do keep that in mind. Just because you chose a character here doesn't mean that that's your character until the end of time. And then, after you pick your character, you get your standard tutorial. I'm sorry in the footage that I skipped a lot of it since I did the tutorial already on the demo, but needless to say, they cover everything that you need to know. Well, assuming that you actually listen or read what they're teaching at the tutorial. Don't be like me, guys. I can't read. After that, you are introduced to the main questline, the story as you will, and some side quests to introduce some features such as unlocking other characters, which is really good in my opinion, since in games like this, the features gets really daunting when you don't know where to start. Having that side quest that functions as a tutorial really helps. Nothing too crazy on the main quest line, it's basically just the story and you're leveling up your characters, which brings me to character progression. The abilities of your Descendants unlocks when you level up. It's similar to your typical MMORPG that you level up to unlock abilities, so you don't get all your abilities from the get-go. You have operations that you can run with a couple other players, such as these instance dungeon type runs where you run it, get to the end of it, fight the boss, get loot. You'll also get to fight your first big boss, which they call as Void Invasions, Void Surge. I don't know, just correct me on that. It conveniently has matchmaking, and as of now, the mechanics are very basic, very intuitive, kind of boring, let's be honest, but as we progress, it probably will have more when it comes to the mechanic side of things, since the second dungeon that I did had more to do than just brain dead killing everything. Of course, it has the classic customizations of weapons, modifications and such. Not just for weapons though, also for your character. Like, you get more health, more shield, more ability damage or whatever. And it looks like the mods you put in are shared with other characters, but I am not 100% sure on this, so don't quote me on that. If you have info on this, feel free to let us know. What I do know is that the character XP is not shared, so in my case, if my Ajax levels up, the bunny that I have doesn't have ass. Doesn't have XP. XP. Jesus Christ, she's got the yams. There is a wide variation of modifications as of the moment. It is really overwhelming, so maybe soon we'll see some build videos once we get more info and of course, more time in the game. Okay, let's get to the monetization. Why are we talking about this? It's because the game is free to play and people are probably wondering, is it pay to win or pay to progress? So let's talk about it. Now, TFD has battle passes. The pricing for it is really on the same price range for battle passes for other games, at least in my region. And of course, you get your good old cosmetics, your skins, the maid skins. What are we talking about? Oh, right. Then you get the other stuff like unlocking characters. And I think it's fair for people who don't have a lot of time, especially for people who have jobs. Can't relate. Seeing as it requires a little bit of grinding to unlock said characters, which we'll talk about next. Now, this is the part that kinda intimidated me since I never played Warframe, but I do have a lot of friends who did. So if you played Warframe before, you're probably familiar of this system. The First Descendant has this system where you craft the essence, or whatever you call it, of the characters, and you need to farm for the materials, of course. Then after you get those materials, you get to this Anais NPC. Anais? Is that how you read it? Anyways, once you get to this NPC, you craft it, and it has a timer on when your crafting will be done. The longest that I've seen so far is a day and a half. Personally, I don't really vibe with it, but if the gameplay hooks me, I can get over it. You can speed up the crafting, but of course, you need to pay with real money. Do with that info as you will. Overall, the game has a solid foundation. The questline felt slower now on release than on the demo, but I guess it was meant to be since, demos don't really last long, so there's that. Making it free to play was a good move for Nexon, since a lot of people don't really know a game is good until they tried it. Sure, people can advertise it as, they say that, hey, this game is good, but unless people can actually try it, it's different. It's different. At least in my opinion. I don't know about you guys. So, the game itself is good. It gets boring, I am not gonna lie to you, since a lot of the gameplay loop is killing mobs. But once you get to some operations, it livens up and it's basically your average MMO experience. Getting so much loot that you don't know if you need it or not. The classic. I don't want to say that this game is the best looter shooter or game changing or whatever, but it is new, it seems fun, and again, free to play. So, in my opinion, it is worth a try. If you think differently and just utterly hate it, feel free to let us know why. Maybe we can share in the hate. Anyways, that's all I care to share about the First Descendant, at least at the moment, since I myself am still grinding. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you on the next one. Subscribe.